Hello, I'm Jared from Jelka. You join me here at a project we've just completed in Gloucestershire. So just looking back through our system, the original requirements for the project, she's building a new stable block to finally have the dressage horses at home, including the plans for an all-weather turnout pen on the back of all 4 stables. Now, we know how in Gloucestershire and the surrounding counties how the soil type is mainly clay, so it makes it very important that we can allow adequate turnout all year round. One of the big priorities for our client was giving the horses freedom of choice, so they can allow access to the outside and the indoors. Some of the horses at this dressage yard are sensitive to grass, which means that the adjoining pens and the stables allow our client to better control the diet throughout the year. So here's a quick overview on the products used in this project. Firstly, the black Komfortex in the 30mm. This is porous, it's designed specifically for horses. It has pegs that joins each mat together. Being 30mm thick, it's robust enough to stand up to the weight of the horses, but it's made from a recycled tyre material, which means it's very, very tough. And that also gives it the second property, which is the slip resistance. Now, slip resistance is very, very important on any surface, not just the adjoining pens. But you've seen some of the horses already have a bit of a buck and a roll already, which is good news. So on the underside, we have these raised dome shapes underneath, and the top is smooth. And what this allows is for quite a lot of flexibility within the mat. And you can see on the hooves of this horse here, you can see how much of an impression it's leaving in the surface, which tells us that it's providing comfort for when they're standing and laying down. So the Komfortex can be used indoor and outdoor, and that's thanks to the material properties. It's very, very tough, which it needs to be for this environment, but it also allows water to drain through and in between the mats, so it can drain underneath the flooring to these external drains here, which helps keep the surface dry for longer periods of time, especially over the winter. So thanks to the softness and the density of the material, it doesn't easily freeze, and that's because the water can permeate through, and because there's such an amount of surface area which gives us the grip, it means that the water doesn't freeze very easily because it has to flow off. So also for this project we designed and built this specialised fencing. It's made from galvanised steel, and it's built to approximately 1500 tall, which is plenty of height for the dressage horses here. The reason why we went with this type of material is it's strong, but it also allows a little bit of flexibility. So if they do end up, having a bit of a rub or into it, there's some flex within the material itself, so it doesn't cause them damage. So every single pen has a gate within the system, and this allows our client to let the horses out even further into the paddock later down the line when the grass has grown back a little bit more. So this entire fencing system is built modular, which means we can add and take away depending on what the client needs. One of the genius elements of this is the rails are all independent to the posts, and this means that anything happens to a horse inside, or it gets bent, for example, we can remove the rail and replace it very easily, very quickly. With this project, we drew up the entire building and the pens on CAD, which meant that we could pre-cut and design all of the fencing elements. So when we got here, all we had to do was essentially stand it up together and then screw it to the floor. So these grommets are made bespoke for our project, which means that we can really snugly fit the rails in so they don't rattle, and it stops the ingress of water on the inside of the post. So all of the fencing is made in-house at our HQ down in Canterbury, Kent, which means we're very flexible with production, and we can make them to any size and shape and height that you wish for your facility.